Привет всем, меня зовут Cameron. I'm back from a little bit of a break here over the winter. I just wanted to do a quick video talking about how a lot of Russian speakers use the way they use the word understandable. Okay, I know in Russian you have like понятно, like understood, understandable in that sense, like я понимаю, like понял, like you understand, like знание, like information, knowledge, understanding in that sense. But in English, we tend to use understandable more in a sense of like почему, like why someone is doing it, like какая причина, like what kind of reason for doing something in English. For example, it'll be like, it is understandable she's sad. Maybe she failed her class or something. You can say it is understandable, meaning it's emotionally understandable. You understand why she feels this way. Like может быть какие эмоции, like sort of emotional sense. Not really understandable in the sense like, if you want to say understandable in the sense of like material, like school, learning, language, math, writing, reading, things like that, it's better to use comprehensible. Okay, comprehensible. To comprehend is the verb, gлагол. Okay, to comprehend. So I comprehend, it comprehends, we comprehend, they comprehend, she comprehends. Right? Comprehend, to comprehend, it means to understand, like knowledge, like знания, like математики, reading, writing, чтение, писание, like, stuff like that, okay? So that's more like school understanding, whereas understandable is more emotional, more reasoning, like what caused this to happen, or oh, that's understandable, she would quit her job because she doesn't like her job, or something like that. Like что-то очень очевидно. But it's more emotional, it's more reasoning, okay? So if someone tells you, like, let's say something in English, and you say, oh yes, it's understandable. It's kind of funny because it's like the phrase, for example, the phrase is understandable. It's kind of like you're saying, like it's not an emotional thing, it's not like a reason, right? You're using it like, don't use it the same way in Russian you would use понятно, because понятно is like да, конечно, понимаю, like I understand, I comprehend what you're saying, like do you understand me, like when I'm speaking, or do you understand what I'm telling you? Like this is like a knowledge material. This isn't a reason or a why or emotions. Do you see what I mean? Or I'll give you a few more examples of using like comprehensible. Okay, you could say this book I'm reading is incomprehensible. It's not comprehensible. Meaning the way a Russian speaker would say it is, it's not understandable. Like непонятный, непонятный, or whatever. Like I can't understand, like непонятно, right? But in English we'd say incomprehensible. For that sense, because it's like znание, it's like knowledge, like I can't understand this book. But if you say this book is not understandable, it's more like an emotional sense. It's kind of funny. It's like я не понимаю, like I don't understand the emotions of this book or something, it doesn't work the same. So лучше сказать, извините, я должен думать. 1 second. It's better to say comprehensible or incomprehensible for learning material, math, writing, reading, languages, anything like that, like material. But understandable is the emotional, the reasoning behind something, okay? Like it's understandable that he is sad because maybe he was fired from his job. It's understandable. You would say, like, that's acceptable there. That to say, oh, that's understandable, right? But not someone gives you a math equation and says, oh, do you get it? Like, do you get this thing? And you say, oh, yes, it's understandable. It's better to say, this is comprehensible. I comprehend the material. Okay, so to comprehend in English is more for the knowledge side of things, like понимать, but with knowledge, school, learning, reading, writing, okay? Understandable is not used the same way as it's used in Russian, and it's used more in a reason, like причина, почему, like why someone is doing something. Эмоционально, я не знаю. Like a more natural human way. You know what I mean? Like, it's understandable she, I don't know, she moved to California because she loves the weather there and her family's there, or something like that. Do you see? So it's like the reason why, not really like, this math book is understandable, or English is very understandable. Like, звучит странно для нас. It sounds a little like strange. So it's better to use comprehensible or incomprehensible, okay? That's the main thing I wanted to say, guys, is just try to use comprehensible or incomprehensible instead of using always understandable, because that's more for unique situations, okay? So learn that word, comprehensible. It's really useful, and it might help some of you be understood a little better, because all I ever hear out of Russian speakers is understandable. Okay, so switch it to comprehensible, incomprehensible. Я думаю, что будет лучше. Окей, так, может быть, это все для сегодня. Спасибо большое и до свидания.